Well, folks, we're here. Only 2 minutes over time, but is what it is. Ah, Ruby. Hey, Kit. Congrats on your win.
Oh, he's talking about a contest that I entered in a different server.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
a henchman story.
Well, we got a slew of topics to go through this evening. In fact, I'm actually going to put a pause on the music a second because we're starting SKL off with a very, very somber note this week.
Oh no.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Hang on, put that. Let's see. From bedknobs and
Oh.
broomsticks to Murder She Wrote and to 1991's Beauty and the Beast, the late Dame Angela Lansbury has touched so many generations with her body of work. Whether it was the sleuth Jennifer Fletcher in 12 Years of Murder She Wrote, and at one point her show actually had a crossover with Tom Selleck's Magnum PI, to the mesmerizing and soothing lullaby of Tale as Old as Time, as Mrs. Potts, to the multiple Tony Awards she has won for her stage work. Angela is a breed of actress they simply don't make anymore. She could be sassy, but always classy. And even in her 90s, when she performed Tale as Old as Time for the first time in years, she still had it. Gone, but never to be forgotten. Rest in peace, Angela. Anyone want to say a few words?
I'll go first.
Okay.
You know, it always sucks to hear that someone you once knew, not really knew, but
You knew
kind of voiced your
professionally.
whole childhood. Was that?
You knew someone you knew professionally.
Yeah, basically. I mean, for me, Beauty and the Beast is one of my all favorite Disney movies. So hearing her, hearing her sing Beauty and the Beast is always timeless. And I could tell she was a sincere woman who has lived as long as possible. So sometimes, you know, life takes a turn. I also know her as Empress Marie in Anastasia.
All right.
Yes.
Yes, she was, because that was also with Kelsey Grammer, who
Yeah.
he's actually got a very good singing voice. But then again, we know that from The Simpsons as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it always hurts. It sucks to hear about someone passing, but if you live long enough as her, if you earn that status, that's easy. So all I gotta say is rest in peace, Angela Lansbury. Your voice will always filled with joy for people who still watching TV the Beast to this day.
Yep. Sir Stephen?
I remember hearing the news when I was doing a lightsaber session earlier this week. I think it was on Tuesday evening. And a friend of mine there, he was deeply saddened with her passing because she's a huge fan of Beauty and the Beast. And it's it's sad to know that we've lost another Disney alumni, because earlier in the year we lost Pat Carroll, aka Ursula from The Little Mermaid. But we always need to remember that they will always live on in their works and for the characters that they portrayed.
Yeah. And has to be said, for a British actress, she put on an American accent quite well.
It's great.
Indeed.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Also, I think we also lost the dude who voiced Sebastian this year.
I think
Aww.
many to look that up. It might have been last year, but hang on, I'll do I'll look it up.
As in Sebastian the Crab from Little Mermaid.
Yep.
Lids,
Damn.
sorry to interrupt, but how about Lids?
Madam President?
I don't really have much to add. It's sad to see someone like that go, but also knowing that she lived a long life, it's not like it was cut really short. I guess it was her time to go, and I can't really say anything more than that. Like I'm sure she's on there up in heaven, just like looking down at the people who remember her and just smiling. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah. Alrighty. Okay. Let's see. What to... Let's have something...
Now,
Alright, go ahead.
just to say, the original voice of Sebastian passed away last year.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, well, on to something... Actually, I don't know how you're going to take this.
Oh,
Pierce
Oh, boy.
Brosnan could have been Batman.
okay.
Excuse you?
Hard to think Remington Steele and the future James Bond actor at the time could have been in place as Batman in 1989 instead of Michael Keaton. But Pierce put it down to this one exchange between himself and Tim Burton. I remember saying something stupid to Tim Burton. I said, you know, I can't understand any man who would wear his underpants over his outside his trousers, but there you go. Brosnan noted the best man got the job, and you know, Dr. Fate and I were meant to be on the same page, I think. Now, to be fair to Pierce, physically, he could have been the part for Bats in '89, as he was in fine form in his mid-30s, and putting on American accents for British and Irish actors has never been a concern. Although, we still raise an eyebrow at Daniel Craig's laughable American accent from 2001's Tomb Raider 21 years later. Sir, when you make my American accent sound more authentic, excuse me, you done goofed. But, as good as Pierce is, and could have been as Bats, after having seen Michael Keaton's performance in 1989, could we have seen anyone else in that performance? I don't think so. 1989's Batman remains in high regard to this day, with Keaton still being a favourite among fans with his more stoic and withdrawn take on the Dark Knight. Although, now knowing this revelation, I'm now just picturing James Bond-esque introductions from Brosnan's Batman. The name's Wayne. Bruce Wayne. But you can also call me Batman. Sir Stephen, what's your 2 cents on this? Steve? Okay, folks, we appear to be having technical problems.
Oh no. Steve.
There we go. This happens. This happens with his phone, folks. It often sort of kicks in and kicks out.
Yeah.
Right, Steve, you there?
Yes.
Right.
Can you hear?
Yes, even better actually. Okay, your 2 cents on the fact that 007 could have been 00 Bat?
To see it work out, you'd probably have to go into another universe. Because for me, considering how things have gone, I just can't imagine that. But I can see where he was coming from in his comment, considering that a good few decades ago, comic book movies weren't taken very seriously. But nowadays, in retrospective, it's more considered like a hot commodity.
Yeah.
Well, Except if you're Marvel, in which case people are wanting them to stop making them.
Or at least take a break for a while.
Mm.
And I can hear Raiden sort of muttering, yeah, good luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Raiden, what do you make about the idea that Brosnan could have been Bruce Wayne?
You know what? I wouldn't mind it, but I haven't seen Bruce Wayne after he did, the so we did after he did, James Bond, because I feel like him and Bruce Wayne are kind of the same in a way. Well, except for the trauma. Okay, I know James Bond has trauma, but the way he hides it is a little bit more well than Bruce Wayne. So I feel like in a way it's a little I wouldn't say transparent, but I would say on the nose.
No.
So I would be interested. I'd be interested in him playing Bruce Wayne, but I would have someone else like that. I'm gonna see Batman like action wise, in a way.
Okay.
So it sounds interesting, but I don't know if he had like. I know he's capable as a fighter, especially in his time as James Bond. So you never know.
Okay. Madam President, your address.
I could have, like, again, if Keaton hadn't come along in the first place, I could have seen Brosnan play Batman, but honestly, the role's too iconic in the hands of Keaton, even though other men have played Bats, but it's just, in the hands of Keaton, it just worked better, so as much as I would like to see that, maybe in another universe it would have happened, but it's a no from me, I'm sorry. I like Pierce Brosnan, I'm not saying I don't, it's just not as Bats. Maybe it's someone else, but not as Batman.
Fair enough. And now we're going on to whether it be this is intriguing or I have several questions.
Oh no.
The Naked Gun reboot moving ahead at Paramount with Liam Neeson expected to take the lead.
Oh, what? What? No, no, no.
Beg your pardon?
I have several questions. Now, I'm not going to say that this is scraping the bottom of the barrel, as Naked Gun is still one of the most beloved tongue-in-cheek slapstick comedies to come out of the 1980s, even if it does feature an actor we'd rather not acknowledge now. You know who you are. This project is being touted as a sequel/reboot. If it's a sequel, then I can kind of let that slide, as there is no way in good conscience that you could replace the late Leslie Nielsen as Detective Frank Drebin. The way he played that role with such serious dry wit to ludicrous and over-the-top physical scenarios is what made the delivery of his lines perfect. But then to bring Liam Neeson in as the lead. Now, Liam is a world-renowned first-class actor. No doubt. From Qui-Gon Jinn to training Batman as Ra's al Ghul to being the ultimate father you don't even want to think about messing with in the Taken series. He will find you. He will. He knows how to do the serious roles, but comedy? He kind of dabbled with it a little in the 2010 adaptation of The A-Team as Colonel Hannibal Smith with the iconic cigar and the line, "I love it when a plan comes together." I will say it hurt hard when they crushed that GMC van in the movie, and I was right with BA, and I'm like, oh dude, no, why'd you do that? I'm of two minds with Seth MacFarlane as producer. When he's passionate about a project like The Orville or A Million Ways to Die in the West, he'll bring his A game. If it's like Family Guy of late, then he'll phone the writing worse than most of Bill Murray's dialogue in The Jungle Book. Murray, buddy, love ya, but you really should have said no. I'm not going to chew this out, nor will I be hopeful. Just yet. Let me see a trailer. Then we'll see, but for now, I don't know. Officer Stephen, your report.
Waiting for impending trailer. Until then, I'm on the fence. Though not really too interested in it. Yet again, the trailer needs to convince me.
Commissioner Kitsune? Ah, she's on mute. Lids. Okay.
Might be doing something.
Ah. In which case, Detective Raiden, your thoughts? Mulligan, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Commissioner Kitsune, your thoughts on this?
No, just flat out no. I'm sorry. I like Liam Neeson, and I don't necessarily look. I'm sorry. I love the Naked Gun movies, despite a certain actor being there. Yeah, but I do like the Naked Gun movies, and I'm sorry. Those movies are not the same without Leslie Nielsen. I'm sorry. Liam Neeson could try fine. He's not against doing comedic roles. It's just I don't see him as Detective Frank Drebin. I mean, if there's like a trailer that comes out that proves me wrong, okay. But other than that, just no. Leave those movies where they are. Just I don't understand why they can't just come up with their own ideas. Oh wait, it's Hollywood. Never mind.
And there you go, answering your own question.
Yeah, that answered my own question. But the point is, yeah, just no. Flat out no.
Okay. And speaking of, I don't know how you do view this, whether this is reboot or just trying a new imagination. Let the Right One In, how the Showtime series will compare to the movies. While vampire shows and movies are nothing new, it seems that Showtime is taking another stab at the story of Let the Right One In. Now, this story has been adapted twice to film, with a Swedish movie of the same name and an American remake of Let Me In, starring Cody Smith-McPhee and Chloe Grace Moretz, and directed by Matt Reeves, who also directed The Batman. From what I could see with the teaser, it's going with a father-daughter dynamic where the child has been cursed with vampirism for a decade, and they're searching for the host that bit her, and that if they kill the originator, they lift the curse. Similar to the same mindset that if you kill the werewolf that bit you, you lift that curse. Although in the case of an American Werewolf in Paris, it means swallowing the heart of the wolf that bit you. Which, by the way, the CG for that movie was awful. I appreciate it was
I have to agree.
I appreciate it was 1995, but when Jurassic Park had better VFX for it 2 years prior, no excuses. I'm open to see what this new TV series can explore with the characters. While the downside of a series is you have to wait a week for each episode, at the same time, you get to have more time in getting to explore the characters and getting to know them. And you can also make the argument that this is the ultimate test for a parent to stand by your child and do anything to keep them from harm, or keeping them from harming anyone else. Steve, how familiar are you with the story of Let the Right One In, and obviously the adaptation of Let Me In, which Chloe Moretz did some 11 years ago? How do you think the idea of a weekly episodic TV series will fare?
Not too familiar with the whole premise.
Okay.
In terms of doing it in an episodic formula, it would allow them to expand a little on the story. Plus, if they, depending on how many seasons they want to run with this, gives them ideas to throw in new elements that could be explored later on.
Okay. Madam President, your somewhat familiar with the remake. What do you make of the idea of essentially taking that story but putting it in a TV series format as opposed to another movie?
I mean, it's a little. I'm not going to say this right now. I'm not saying that I hate the idea of rebooting it because, quite frankly, the original. Not saying that it needed a reboot. It didn't get to that many audiences, and I'm not talking about the Let Me In. I'm talking about Let the Right One In because that's an underrated film in itself. So, the fact that both the original Swedish version and the remake are getting attention now because of this rebooted series is actually kind of nice. I'm 100% okay with the series. I like as soon as I saw commercials for it, like, oh, because usually when I see something that's like in like an ad for on YouTube where it's like this had my attention because a lot of this thing it's like where's the skip button? It's like like I don't care, but this is like, huh, okay, this is interesting. I'll keep it here. I might watch that if I had the opportunity. So it's like I'm 100% okay with this, and the fact that they can go in with the blood and it's just with the violence of it all. Because quite frankly, that it's a freaking vampire. Vampires are vicious killing machines that hunt for blood. You can't really tone down that kind of violence without making it look like, oh goody, we're gonna Disneyfy this bullshit. No, vampires are fucking monsters. We should treat them like they are. Again, I'm glad that it's on a network that at least lets it cut loose a little bit. I mean, not show full frontal nudity. Good lord, no. I don't need Skinamax, thank you. But at least bring out the violence where it's like the violence is there. So don't steer away from the violence. Just don't go too whole ham. Just show us that it's like violent. But again, I'm all for this. I'm okay with it. So I'm 100% okay with it.
Also, the idea of Disney doing a vampire movie. Let's not.
Oh no. Oh no, they did make one. It's called Twilight. Oh, did I say that out loud?
That was
Wow.
I'm sorry. Sparkly vampires. Fuck them. No, I'm still angry about that.
Also,
Fucking Stepmire.
I don't know how this managed to happen one time, but for whatever reason on RDR we got onto the subject of Twilight. I don't know how. I don't want to know why. And then all of a sudden, it's like, can you imagine Hulkster as a vampire? He's like, look at me, brothers, I'm sparkling. And L-Man, he goes, oh, if anybody's listening, I want a picture of that. And I'm like, oh good lord, no. But remember two simple words. It's L-Man. Although it was either him or Oni said, well, so what would that make Ultimate Warrior, like the Jacob of that scenario? And I'm like, let's not even go there.
Oh, God, no. That's the issues that man has went through.
Also, as a slight side tangent, I don't know if anyone saw Razorfist's review of Predator 2.
Oh, I've seen it.
The moment the Predator injects himself with what Razor refers to as probably space steroids, you can hear very quietly Ultimate Warrior's Titantron theme going, and as soon as he crashes through the wall, it just blasts up so loud. I'm like, okay, yeah, that actually kind of fits.
Yeah.
And to our own Blade, what do you make of this?
If I remember correctly, did Chloe Perez did a remake of this movie? Or...
Hang on, say that again.
Did Chloe Perez did a remake of this movie? Let Me In or something like
Yeah,
that?
that was in 2010.
Ah, okay. I'm not familiar with the series at all, but I don't know. I might check it out. Like, I think anything vampire related, I'm okay. When it comes to vampire related projects, I'm very selective. If your name is a Blade or I guess the Underworld franchise.
Yeah.
Before Awakening. So with this, I'll probably see it. Uh, Werewolf movies, I'm already down a little bit. Slasher movies, I'm already down. Vampire movies, like I said, I'm very picky and I'm very choosy when it comes to them. So if this is good, I might check it out. So you never know.
Okay. I'm gonna be kind of killing the mood again in a sec because there was no way I was not going to be talking about this.
Why?
As a fan, a nerd, and as a human being, it is heartbreaking to see what Parkinson's is doing to Michael J. Fox. I admire his spirit and how he puts on. I admire his spirit and how he puts on such a brave face when doing convention appearances. When you see the look on Christopher Lloyd's face when he greets his longtime friend and Back to the Future co-star, you know he is crying internally at seeing the decline of his friend's health. Hard to think. It was 32 years ago on the set of Back to the Future Part 3 is where it was believed that in one of the takes that was done incorrectly for the hanging scene is what triggered his Parkinson's disease. The noose was incorrectly set up to where Michael was actually being hung for real. I don't know if it's ever been conclusively proven if that's what caused it, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Marty McFly was one of those characters I looked up to as a kid, as he would say and do things that I could only dream of. He spoke his mind, did what he thought was right, and stood up for the little guy. Ironically, one of those was his father as a teenager. So to see Michael go from the plucky, energetic, never say die attitude as Marty McFly to a man humbled by a degenerative disease like Parkinson's where he's not in full control of his emotions is just a sad sight to see. He's one of my favourite actors because as Marty, you buy into his performance from the first moment as the character. When an actor is authentic, it shows. Same thing with RDJ as Tony Stark. You buy into his act as Iron Man because he is Tony Stark. I really hope that they do find a cure for Parkinson's, and I hope it can be sooner rather than later, so Michael can enjoy his life the way he should be allowed and deserves to live it. He commented in good spirits at the New York Comic Con that said the best thing about working on Back to the Future was with working with Chris, and that he says that Parkinson's is the gift that keeps giving and that he learns to appreciate life for what it is. Whilst that's very admirable of you, Michael, at the same time, we just want to see you well. We just want to see you live the life you deserve to have. Steve, any thoughts?
Nothing really to add there. It's sad to know that such a condition can lead to such after effects.
Yeah.
But as with time and again, as it's been said before, you gotta love them while you have them.
Yes. It's like I say, you could see the look on Chris's face when he's, putting an arm around him. You can see the look on his face. Inside, he's crying. He's just like, why is this happening to my friend? He won't ever say it because, being the elder of the two, he's just trying to put a brave face on, but I don't know. Madam President, anything to add?
I mean, it's kind of it's hard to think about. Just thinking about there's a certain, I do have sort of a connection to that. My grandmother, who's sadly no longer with us,
Sorry to hear that.
she passed due to complications from Parkinson's.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Condolences.
well, it was a complication from it, but yeah, to think about that, and she got it later in life. but having the fact that he's been fighting through this disease, and this disease is killing him. It's hard to watch. And it's got to be hard for the people close to him to watch this. Just it when you've been exposed to that, it kind of puts you in a different place than you realize, because you empathize with the people around him. That's why you understand how it must feel for them having to watch the person they care about deteriorate to a point like this. That'd be difficult.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to watch. But again, you can't look away. That's probably why he's kind of in the public, to say, hey, I'm still here, but guess what? This isn't going anywhere. I'm probably going to die. And it's kind of difficult for us to see that, but he's brave enough to come out and say, I'm still coming out even though I'm close to death, not yet, because I'm still fighting it. But I will not rest until there is a cure for this disease. Until then, I'm still here. That's all I can say about that. It's just kind of hard to watch.
I still find it so insulting. Now, I think this disc jockey passed away in the last few years, so I'm not going to say anything too disparaging, because it's just one of those unwritten laws as a human being. You don't speak ill of the dead. However, the fact that this person accused Michael of over-exaggerating his Parkinson's symptoms in 2006, it's just like, buddy, no. He did not exaggerate those symptoms. He purposely came off of his meds to show why he is on these meds, and Michael could have easily have turned around and let a rant on him, but his response is, hey, if that's what gives him his jollies, then okay, let him be him, but at the end of the day, what I say is real. And I think Win, in particular, doesn't have any particular too flattering things to say about this disc jockey in question. And the disc jockey, the name's going to bother me for a while. He was actually shown on camera on his radio show flailing his arms around, like I say, accusing Michael of acting it up, and I'm like, dude, no. Like I say, I'm sorry that the person in question's gone, but that doesn't excuse what he did. Yeah. Raiden, any thoughts?
I definitely agree with the sentiment here, man. Like, even though I'm not a big, Back to the Future fan, yeah, it really sucks to see him like this, man. It's like, you don't want to see someone that you loved watching growing up suffer like that. I mean, for me, it's like with me and DMX before he passed, Yeah. But the different thing is, I knew his time was going to come because of all the things he's done with his body, So, but with Michael J. Fox, it's like, he got diagnosed with it. Like it's nothing you could do with that. But like Liz said, I hope there's a cure for it. Yeah, because I don't know, man. You don't want to see someone. You don't want to see someone deteriorate in front of you every time.
No.
And my heart goes out to Christopher Lloyd, because I know him and MJ Fox are just the best of friends.
Yeah.
And you don't want to see your friend suffer. So I wish nothing but the best for MJ Fox. I'm just happy that he's still happy, no suffering.
Yeah.
And that's all you can do, man. Like, smile in the face of pain. Simple as that.
Yep. Sean Retro's here. Hi, what have I missed so far? He says, what an a-hole. Yeah, he's referred to the disc jockey. Yeah, like I say, I'm not going to speak ill of the man, because, again, you don't speak ill of the dead, but at the same time, not cool. Right, now to relighten the mood. And I'll put the music back on. WWE Raw star now officially part of SmackDown and earns an Intercontinental title shot. I think with what's been going on with Raw, with Ray watching his son Dominic join the Judgment Day, which is basically, discount Ministry of Darkness.
Basically.
And that as a father, he would not fight his son. It was just a natural move to return to SmackDown, where the legendary High Flyer made a name for himself on the Blue brand 20 years ago, being tag team champions with Edge, Batista, and the late Eddie Guerrero, to winning the 2006 Royal Rumble and becoming World Heavyweight Champion at that year's WrestleMania. But it has to be said, the whole exploiting Eddie's death got really old and distasteful after the umpteenth time. The Rumble? Sure. Nice dedication. WrestleMania 22? Okay, I can let it slide, but when it was pay-per-view after pay-per-view, to quote my brother from another mother in Raiden, stop!
Basically.
This was probably just as distasteful as the Katie Vick storyline, which, hard to think, that's 20 years ago this month. But of course, you know who came up with that sick idea of a story? Should you be surprised? Probably not. Ray leaving Raw and basically leaving the Judgment Day, Discount Ministry, to Edge, the OC, and whoever wants our sanity to be restored. Good on Ray. And Ray's only ever been Intercontinental Champion twice in his WWE career. One of those was winning a title versus mask match against Jericho. I think
that was really fun. No lie.
Yeah, and of course it was Jericho during his heel run. Ugh. Here's the thing.
I don't know, man. That heel, I can't hold you, man. That heel run was legendary.
Yeah, but the thing is, with Jericho as heel, he just becomes so insufferable to the point of, okay, when other heels hate you, you're doing something bad. And also,
bro, listen, off topic. Why do you think I don't watch Rampage? Because half the time he commentates, and I cannot stop him on commentary.
Fair enough. Because technically this would have been his second heel run when, he was, I am not respected, I'm the first undisputed champ. It's like, it's not the fact that you're not respected. People know your accomplishments and capabilities. It's the fact that you sound more feminine than Stephanie McMahon when she's ranting and raving.
Yikes.
And this was only like 4 to 5 months removed from Wind Beneath Our Ring. Good Lord help us if that woman ever decides to do karaoke night when she's drunk and there's Liz going, right, I'm going to go need my meds now. There's like, Oni, I need to borrow your meds. Why? MJ mentioned Wind Beneath Our Ring. Well, give me some. Because Oni's still healing from that. Stephanie singing. No one needs to hear that, but at the same time, no one ever needs to hear Jillian ever again.
Oh God!
I still can't believe she.
I remember. I will never forget when she kind of came back in the Women's Rumble. I was like, no. That was like PTSD for me.
Still can't believe she actually had stuff released to iTunes, and I'm like,
what?
Yeah, she actually had
Oh God, no!
I'm looking at him like, are you serious, people? You actually released that? But then again, nothing could ruin our hearing worse than excuse me.
Oh God! Kill it with fire! Kill it with fire! Kill it with fire!
Off topic. Let me tell you. Okay, I was there live at Rampage, and I think it was after a match between Jade Cargill. And when I heard "excuse," my ears were ringing. Oh my God!
Like, no.
Oh, no.
No.
I gotta have PTSD. No.
I still.
When I heard, I'm like, oh my God, no.
You were about to run out of the arena. Oh God, no! I'm out. I'm out.
Oh God.
I still can't.
And yet she's still more well liked than Sammy Guevara. Yeah, I said it.
I still.
Liz. Okay, I'm sorry I'm going off topic, but let me tell you something. When I was there on Dynamite DC, we made sure to boo the fuck out that man. For real.
Good.
Sorry, he was gonna make it out alive without being booed.
The bricks.
Yeah. It was boy. Anytime he was on screen or when he got tagged in, we just booed him.
Oh, good. That's what he deserves.
I still can't believe to this day, and this is just Triple H being comedic face. Not too long after Edge and Vicky got married in story, which I still question to this day, Triple H had to share photos on the SmackDown screen.
No, no, thank you.
Yeah, I remember.
And what I found amusing is either a couple of years later or maybe a few months later, somebody actually added Yellow's "oh yeah" whilst the photos.
Oh God, no! No!
And
what are you talking about?
yeah, you know what I'm talking about, is when Vicky had a pictorial done for Edge in storyline.
Oh God, I'm sorry. Just why would they make her do that? I'm sorry. I'm not a skinny twig, but hot damn, no, why?
And then of course, Triple H being Triple H, he has like camera hidden backstage where he was fooling around with Alicia Fox. Now, here's the thing, and this is me just.
Which I would say, congratulations on her engagement.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm saying this purely like it is. If there are people that, like women of Vicky's size, then okay, that's cool. But if it's me and someone says, choose between Vicky and Vicky, choose between Vicky and Alicia, I'll go Alicia. Because here's the thing, I'm just not attracted to Vicky. As a person, real person, sweetest person that you could imagine. It's just that the persona she puts on, she just does it too damn well. Whereas Alicia Fox, pleasant, attractive, sultry, and she's in storyline most times she's a redhead. Hey, how you doing, girl? I like the redheads.
In later years, yeah, she had a crazy persona.
Yep.
She did, but to be fair, they made her go that way because they needed filler till they can find someone to go up against Paige, because Paige kind of had a hit and miss.
Yeah.
Run as Divas champion, because they just weren't really able to find anybody credible to go up against, because AJ had gone, and AJ was taking time up because, you know, she wanted to go have her wedding. And say what we will about CM Punk now, but firing him on his wedding day is like, that's really shitty. I'm just saying it like it is. I mean, and he doesn't say, I don't want to hear it. They knew. Because AJ asked for that time off. And, you know, right on his wedding day, it's like, wow. That'd be like, let's just say there's a douchebag in Raiden's neighborhood called Eddie Punchett. Let's just say for argument's sake, and he's always trying to one up Raiden. Raiden's having a nice birthday. This, that. Eddie comes along and says, "Look at these 2 hookers I got," and he's just like, "Oh, you son of a bitch!" You know what I mean? It's just a means to sort of one-upsmanship. So, you know, make of that what you will.
Yeah.
And we've gone off the rails as ever. Lids, thoughts on Ray going to SmackDown, and do you think story-wise and probably real life this was probably the best thing to do for him?
I honestly think it does, because again, Ray needs something else to do, but here's my problem. Why go to SmackDown to face off with a man that could probably break him in half? Because we've all seen what Walter/Gunther looks like, right?
Yes.
When Oni and I found out about that, I believe we quoted Mr. Popo when he say, "He gonna die. He's gonna die." And I'm like, probably. Because, yeah! If anybody knows what Walter, aka Gunther, is capable of, yeah, Ray's gonna get seriously hurt and probably written off storyline. But you know what? Fair. Just go off somewhere. Just, I don't know. The point is, it's a kind of a different way to like change the formula up, because it's been the same damn thing over and over again. And calling the Judgment Day discount Ministry of Darkness, that's a little unfair. They're more discount NWO from 2000. I'm sorry. They are. I'm sorry. I love Rhea Ripley, but they are discount NWO. I'm sorry. They are.
Man, you're not wrong.
I don't know. But the point is this is actually a good move. It kind of like completely makes the writing of that show a bit less stagnant, because you're not including Ray and everything in the storyline, and the fact that you have AJ and the OC coming in instead to basically replace that, because Edge has been particularly written off storyline because he's got to film the Percy Jackson series for Disney Plus. Yes, congratulations to Adam for that. Yeah, congratulations. He's gonna play Ares, so yay.
That makes a lot of sense in the world.
But yeah, all in all, it's an interesting way to freaking at least shake things up a little bit, so it's not stagnant. Because we all know what the old man said and did, and blah blah blah. It just, we don't need to discuss that. The man was senile and was comfortable with the same thing over and over again.
I know what the people want. They want to see Hulk Hogan versus The Rock 3. We do?
No, we never asked for this. No, we never asked for this.
You want to see Bastion Booger come back? Are you high? Maybe?
No, probably. At least it's better than Tony Khan being high on cocaine. Yeah, I said it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I don't know about that. I don't know. A lot of the time, someone on cocaine can produce the best Dynamite episode, but too much cocaine can really.
Yeah.
I will agree on that.
But the point is, it's a good way to shake things up. But we'll see what happens.
So Stephen will more than likely pull a mulligan because it's wrestling. It's not his thing. So we go to the rated Raiden Superstar. What do you make of this?
Listen, for what it's worth, it's good on all fronts. I mean, the more you keep focusing on Ray with the Judgment Day, and you know what, I'm not gonna sold him because that's beating the dead horse at this point. But yeah, him getting switch up to SmackDown was a better move. Because Lord knows, listen, even though I have my issues with Triple H and his booking, I will say Raw has been pretty decent with matches. But if it if anything, he needs to focus a little bit more on SmackDown because that's been the redheaded stepchild of the Fed for years now. And I kind of, and even though I'm not watching, I would love to see it come back to the standards that was 2002 to 03, where you have banger wrestling matches at all times. I mean, it's kind of sort of slowly coming back to that. So adding Ray to the equation is much better. But yeah, has anyone seen Walter / Gunther? He's known to fuck people up like crazy, especially with his chops. So, but I'm confident that Ray can hang in there since he has experience with big dudes, like from Big Show to Undertaker to Brock Lesnar. But the thing is, Walter / Gunther is different than those guys. He's the type of person. I'm sure wanted that person when you get to use hard. But I know Ray can survive, but he ain't gonna walk normally after this. That's all I'll say. So I'm kind of sort of looking forward to it. So yeah, that's gonna be good.
All right. I missed a comment from Dan. Speaking of Pierce Brosnan, I heard that he was inspired by Benedict Cumberbatch in his role as Doctor Strange to take on the role of Dr. Fate. Huh. Interesting. Okay.
That definitely makes sense. I can definitely see the mannerisms there.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, folks, I managed to do this in time. Right, Sean and Dan, and possibly Ruby, if you're listening, don't hit the play button until I give the word. And no, it's not.
I'm at 0-0.
And it's not about the bird either. Okay, I'm at 0. Steve's at 0.
All right, give me a sec.
Sure.
So I take it that you've heard MJ.
Very good.
And if only was here, he would be saying, "Don't you do it."
Oh, I'm gonna do it.
Oh, he's gonna do it.
Yeah. Everyone ready?
Let me see if I can get.
Yep.
Yeah, 1 second. I'm waiting for it to load. Oh well. Can you?
I hate it when it starts.
My phone is.
Yeah, I hate it when it starts when you don't want it to start straight away.
Right. All right. Now I'm ready.
Raiden, ready? 3, 2, 1, play.
Oh.
Oh.
It's sequel time. It's not surprising over time when a standalone movie achieves great success that there's a demand for a follow-up. Anything from 1978's Superman to 84's Terminator and 1993's Jurassic Park. And of course, seeing how well Ghostbusters performed in 1984, fans had been demanding a sequel for years, and this was answered 5 years later in 1989 with the band coming back together for Ghostbusters 2. Does it still hold up? Well, let's grab our proton packs and heat them back up as we revisit Ghostbusters 2. I can't be the only one thinking that the biggest complaint about this movie is that it became way too kid-friendly. And by the context of this, a lot of cursing was toned down to little to none, as the first movie had no problems dropping S-bombs, even from Egon, which you'd figure he would be the least obvious to swear. The tone for this one was lighter. Considerably. I think when you have a story about investigators / eliminators of supernatural activity, it's understandable that story aspects of ghost possessions and trying to prevent the coming of the apocalypse is not exactly family friendly, in the same context as, say, Barney the Dinosaur. Although he's scary for a whole different reason. The series The Real Ghostbusters proving a hit with kid audiences that it just made sense to market the demographic as being more family friendly.
Love that show.
Which makes sense from a financial perspective, as more could be made from sales of toys, t-shirts, costumes, and video sales. Well, it was 1989. We didn't have DVDs back then. Too true. The only aspect that was surprisingly toned down was Peter Venkman's womanizing, considering how creepy and inappropriate he was in the first movie. The story picks up 5 years after the events out of business after they were sued by the city, county, and state of New York with a bill so large, and it didn't help that there was a lack of spooky activity. It was a clever way to bring Dana Barrett back into the picture by having her son, Oscar, be the target of Vigo the Carpathian as a host to inhabit to live in the 21st century, and in turn a way to bring the Ghostbusters back into business. There are elements that are repeated from the first movie that, while they're good, it's something we've seen before, from a giant figure walking the streets of Manhattan to the montage of the Ghostbusters answering jobs. I think the only real creepy moments are with the disembodied heads in the abandoned subway tunnel and the River of Slime, to Ray being possessed by Vigo, which had been kind of foreshadowed from the art museum earlier in the movie. One gag I think a lot of people got a smile out of was this.
He says the Titanic just arrived.
Hey, Cheech.
Hey, what? What?
Ooh.
Better late than never.
To sum it up, it's not the worst sequel that Sony has ever put out.
Oh!
No.
Sequels rarely achieve the level of succession over an original. The late Ramis reprises his role as the stoic and intellectual Dr. Spangler, and he's in character incredibly well, like he walked onto this movie 5 minutes after the original ended, and aged seemingly very little. He plays off of his co-star and co-writer Dan Aykroyd perfectly as he brings in new tech from the Geiger meter and the slime throwers into the Ghostbusters arsenal. Dan is just as eager and enthusiastic as Ray as he was in the first movie, even though the character had to take a job as a bookshop doing ghostbusting as a side hustle for kids' birthday
I've
parties,
seen
which,
things.
unbeknownst to the audience at the time, got sassed by the future director of Ghostbusters Afterlife, Jason Reitman.
You know, my dad says you guys are full of crap. Jason?
Well, some people have trouble believing in the paranormal.
No,
Oh my God.
You guys are full of crap, and that's why you went out of business.
And by He-Man.
Oh, sick burns!
Clearly they didn't have the power. I felt like this is another area the first movie was being repeated in, as Ernie's screen time was probably on par with the first, as once the birthday party scene is done, we don't see Winston again until the business is back up and running. Which is a shame, because I felt like Ernie had a lot more charisma and moxie in this sequel compared to the limited scenes he had in the former. I was really glad with the material that Weaver was
Sigourney,
given in
how you
this, where
doing?
she's still tied into the story, but not the target this time. She displays motherly instincts for Oscar excellently as a mother that would do anything for her kid. I found it interesting that they managed to find a way to bring Lewis back into the story by being the Ghostbusters accountant and, during their trial, their lawyer. It's a nice feel-good moment for the character when he believes that he lifted the slime covering the building outside wielding a spare proton pack. Okay folks, this is basic Johnny acting 101. You know you're doing your job well when you're disliked by both the audience and the characters. Slimy, creepy, smarmy, and annoying. And that's before he becomes a servant of evil. I do like the way he makes it so obvious that he wants to chase tail with Dana when he says to Vigo what he's looking for in return, of which is reflected through Wilhelms von Homburg's facial expression as Vigo.
He seriously has a punchable face.
Yeah.
Great casting choice. A stoic villain who only wanted back in to do evil.
And the voice
rob
actor actually
innocent
came
of his
back for the
being,
game.
And von Homburg
Ah.
is in spades. Alright, let's do this. Murray returns as the lovable ass and, as mentioned earlier, seemingly restrained. Given how this movie had a much lighter tone compared to the former, his womanizing antics were toned down, although there is still some of that spark where Dana wants some of that roguish charm from him, but just for him to grow up. And of course, he had to get one questionable line in.
It looks like a giant Jello mold.
I hate Jello.
Oh, come on, there's always room for Jello.
Damn it, Venkman!
Ah, dude!
Director Ivan Reitman had little interest in the technical aspect of the special effects of the movie. He brought in ILM and gave them the basic outline of what he wanted for the movie, giving them essentially free range for what they could do with the movie, of which the head supervisor was Dennis Murin, who would go on to be the visual effects supervisor for Jurassic Park 4 years later. ILM found Ghostbusters 2 the most challenging, as the design and concept were always changing, and they already had their hands full with Back to the Future Part 2 and Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade. Slimer was redesigned to look a little more kid-friendly compared to his initial appearance in the first movie, where he was terrorizing guests at the Sedgwick Hotel. The disembodied heads in the subway tunnel.
That's why I
are the
didn't
thing
show
of
it.
nightmares, as even for a more family-friendly picture, that scene goes to places.
Yep.
So the effects, 33 years later, they hold up well. Randy Elderman was brought in to replace Elmer Bernstein. Although he was familiar with Ghostbusters, he made the point of not watching it again, even though he was responsible for the first film's score. Instead, he chose to focus on giving the sequel a distinctively different sound compared to the former. The soundtrack is very different compared to the first movie. While Ray Parker Jr.'s iconic Ghostbusters song still features, he also wrote an updated hip-hop version that was performed by
They did do a
Run
good
DMC,
cover.
which added its own flavor, and hip-hop was becoming more mainstream by the late 80s. Recording artist Bobby Brown, who also has a cameo as the mayor's doorman, performed the track that got the best reception with On Our Own, which included in the music video the likes of Rick Moranis, the Troyster, and even Superman himself, the late Christopher Reeve. It's a great score, and it holds up.
Oh.
The
Yep.
movie grossed a profit of $215.4 million off a $30 to $40 million budget. In 2022, that's worth $498.3 million, which is $80 million
Yeah.
less than its predecessor, even without the inflation adjustment. It earned $29 million on its opening weekend ahead of Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade, and earned $102 million overseas, which brought its worldwide total to $215 million. Dave Kerr and USA Today's Mike Clark had their thoughts on the movie. They said that Ghostbusters had succeeded by projecting childlike fantasies onto adult characters who snubbed authority and bonded in a clubhouse, but by taking a surreal comedic fantasy and adding humanity to the central characters, the sequel had become 4 Ghostbusters and a Baby, a reference to the 1987 comedy film 3 Men and a Baby, directed by Leonard Nimoy.
Yep.
Roger Ebert called it a disappointment, saying he reviewed Ghostbusters 2 in a public screening and only heard one laugh during the entire film. Ivan Reitman had also blamed the film's performance for the audience's desire for darker stories, considering at the time Batman was released in theaters around that time, and the audience was flocking to that more as it was catering more to their desires. Some believe that it was Ghostbusters 2 that killed the franchise, and for a while it did, until Ghostbusters 2 made less money than its predecessor, and as a result, very mixed to negative reviews from critics and fans alike. It was the 9th top-earning movie of 1989. The top 3 were Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Batman, and Back to the Future Part 2. There wouldn't be a continuation of the story until 2021's Ghostbusters Afterlife, in which the surviving cast returned to aid a new generation of Ghostbusters, including the grandchildren of one Dr. Egon Spengler. The movie has been enjoyed since 1989 on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K. I'm MJ Knight, and we busted ghosts again for Ghostbusters 2.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice touch with the music at the end.
Yeah?
Well, I like future funk, so tried to find one that was fitting to what I do these days. Steve, thoughts
Yes.
on Ghostbusters 2 33 years later, and thoughts on the review?
Probably one of the weakest out of the three Ghostbusters movies. And yes, I said three Ghostbusters movies.
We don't
Prove me
acknowledge
wrong.
the abomination.
Still need to rewatch that at some point. But loved the use of music towards the end there with the review, especially with the Ghostbusters.
Well, for people that for people that grew up in the late 80s and early 90s, that would open up a part of the brain. Like, wait a minute, I remember this.
Yep, definitely did for me.
Madam President, same questions.
I thoroughly enjoyed the review, and I do like the little nice touches that you added with the changes that you've made. It works, and it kind of like gets to the point, and it actually makes the reviews better. So I kind of enjoyed it. I really like. Not that I didn't enjoy reviews before, but it's like it's a nice change of pace, and I do enjoy that.
And thoughts on Ghostbusters 2 years later?
I do have like a fondness for it. Don't get me wrong. The original is slightly better, but it's definitely leagues better than Feig Busters.
There's Raiden strapping on a proton pack. No, we need to trap this movie now. We need to put this away. No, this should not be haunting anyone. No.
Again, all in all, I enjoyed the review, and I enjoyed the Ghostbusters 2. Again, not my favorite Ghostbusters movie, but still leagues way better than a certain other movie. But yeah, I enjoyed Ghostbusters 2 for what it is, so there we go.
And there was actually another line that Venkman had said, which I just chose to leave out. Egon said, I think we should perform gynecological tests on the mother, and Peter goes, who wouldn't? And I'm like, ugh.
Ah, dude!
Seriously, Venkman.
Keep it in your pants!
It's why I felt like, oh come on, there's always room for Jello is just, that was probably the more acceptable clip to put in, but at the same time it's like, damn it, Venkman.
It could have been a lot worse. Trust me.
Yeah, could have been how he told Egon how he subdued Zool. I'm just like, Venkman, what the hell? It's just like, I mean, alright, you managed to subdue a rather unpleasant entity, but at the same time, you were bringing that on your date with Dana. Sir, I have questions. Several questions. It's why I had you all decide up, I will never look at that man the same. Because, Raiden, same questions to you. How do you feel about Ghostbusters 2 to this day and the overall presentation of the review?
I'm a big giant Ghostbusters fan, even though I enjoyed Extreme Ghostbusters back in the day. I feel like it didn't have that much. first movie.
Mm.
Actually, when I forgot I forgot what was the mayor? I forgot for the first movie.
Hmm. You might...
The guy that put him in jail.
Oh right, yeah, Walter Peck.
Walter Peck. I liked him as a villain. You wanted to see him get his just desserts, and he kind of did. I kind of wish he was in the second movie, if you ask me. You know, but I think the second movie is a little bit harmless. You know, and I like the villain ego.
Yeah.
And I just wish he had a little bit more to do, but that's just me. But for what it's worth, outside of it all, I think the movie is pretty decent. I really like Bobby Brown's song
hell
on our
yeah.
It's a, I mean, I don't know. Over the years, I've appreciated his work aside from the controversy with youth and blah blah blah. But we're not gonna get into that and all that shit, all that jazz. But I thought the song really worked with the movie because anything kicks ass when it comes to a bomb song to accompany it, you know.
Yeah.
So, for what it's worth, I think Ghostbusters 2 as a whole is an okay thing. Not the best, but okay. I'll take anything that happened in 2016, but hey, at least that's rectified now. So, so yeah, I think the movie is good. I think your review is really good. I like what you did with how you switched up your style of reviews. I mean, basically you switched up the font and everything, which is cool. And I like the end game on that. So yeah, really good.
Well, it's like I say, I'm looking to see when YouTube will get back to me to where, you know, I can still credit the applicable sources and resources, because I like to think I'm not someone who does people dirty, because if I happen to use something, I like to actually put it down in writing. Look, this is what I've used, this is the links where, you know, you can find these resources royalty free and what have you, because that's just how I've grown up understanding how to do things professionally. And also it's polite, you know, it's polite and common sense courtesy. If you're using something of someone's work, say where you've used it, because it's something that comes back to bite you anyway. And I was a little surprised I didn't see, like, even like Oliver Harper putting descriptions down in his video description of what he's used and where, and I'm like, huh, okay. Not sure how to feel about that, considering, you know, he's one of the most reputable movie reviewers on YouTube. But like, okay, but it's just to be, you know, if they could, like, you open up video, you look in video description, you'd have to go to like a tab where it says this was written by, this was edited by, this was produced, this was the music that was used, these were the visuals that were used. Stuff like that's important to me. If not able to get, you know, if YouTube's not able to get back to me, what I might do as a kind of a trial period, I might bring the credits back, but do it in a way whereby each specific piece of information is there for a second and then it's gone. Because again, I believe in doing things professionally, because that's just how I am, you know. So we'll see. So yeah, it's Ghostbusters 2 crossed off. What people said in the comments. Dan says, "Wowie, wow, yowie, wowie, let me in."
Oh God.
I'm not sure with how Bray's gonna be. I mean, I'm glad the guy's back, because as far as I was concerned, he was unfairly ousted. But I wanted him to come back as the swamp zombie, or as my brother likes to refer to him as, the, you know, a carny dude love, which I'm like, Not sure how to take that. Well, Sean, you're actually in luck because Jason Reitman did actually reveal they actually are working on a new animated series. There's going to be a new Ghostbusters.
Oh.
There's going to be a new Ghostbusters animated movie that's, I think it might be getting a cinematic release or is coming to Netflix. It's one of them. And there's also going to be a new animated series, but it doesn't necessarily tie in with the movie series, so it might just be its own thing, continuing on from where the original animated series left off. I mean, who knows? But, that's where we stand with that.
Just as long as Frank Welker and Maurice LaMarche return for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, let's see. Gotta find the right image for this. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good image to use for this. Okay. Moving on to our next topic now. Black Adam star The Rock alludes to Superman's return. The Rock said something so poignant in an interview recently. Black Adam is the most unstoppable force on Earth, and the unstoppable force in the universe has been sitting on the sidelines for too long. It has been since 2017 since we last saw Henry Cavill's Superman in the discount Avengers movie of Justice League, in which Bats was acting more like Tony Stark and less like the stoic and embittered Bruce Wayne that we have been introduced to Bats vs. Supes. And then, of course, the CG lip. 5 years on, it still looks dumb. If Henry is returning as Supes, then I welcome this with open arms. And one more thing. Man of Steel 2. I don't need any more of these solo outings. We don't need another Aquaman movie, even though Jason Momoa is badass as Arthur. Not bad for a former Baywatch actor. I really don't care for the Flash movie, as the only thing I was interested in that was seeing the prospect of Michael Keaton return as Bat, and I still want that. I just want a sequel to Man of Steel. Next year will be the 10th anniversary of the movie, and nothing has been done to add to Superman's story when the technology has caught up so much to tell stories of Superman that could only be done in animation 30 to 40 years ago. Maybe we could see Superman vs. Brainiac with the heel being played by Arnold Vosloo, or Metallo and have him played by Jake Gyllenhaal. The point is, Cavill has the potential to be a true successor to the most quintessential Superman. Christopher Reeve has stood as everyone's favourite since 1978 by portraying the character with such honesty and humility. I see the potential in Henry to be able to give that if only Warner Brothers would just let him and put together scripts for a sequel. And to our own Man of Steel, Sir Stephen, what do you make of this idea that Rock is teasing Black Adam versus Supes?
I'm taking it very much as a rumor at this point. We still don't know what's happening with the DC cinematic universe, because considering the shakeups that have happened at Warner Brothers, not only with animation but with the whole system as a whole, who knows what could be happening at the moment. Until we get more evidence to suggest otherwise, I'm just gonna keep my ear to the ground for this.
And to our own Wonder Woman, Madam President, what's your thoughts?
I think that this, again, I feel like he's doing a lot of teasing lately. Not just with the DC cinematic universe. He's also teasing a lot with a certain match that may or may not happen at WrestleMania. Wink, wink, hint, hint.
Yes.
Nudge, nudge.
But again, he knows how to play to the audience. He knows how to freaking pull those strings to see what reaction he can get from people. That's how you get somebody's attention properly without doing other questionable things.
Yes.
I'm not going to say their name, just they know what they did.
Yes.
All in all, I'm intrigued by this. I would like to see Supes go up against Black Adam, even though... Because again, Superman has not gotten a fair shake in the DC universe.
No.
I mean, they got a little bit of like whimsical Superman in Whedon's Justice verse, but
Yeah.
the less we talk about that, the better. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm still mad at Joss. I'm sorry, I am. But
we
again,
all
I
are.
would actually, I would. Thank you. I feel like if I need to see more of Soups properly worked on before I can see him face off against Black Adam. I need to see the Big Blue Boy Scout before I need to see him face off against this paragon of like brutality. That's what Black Adam is. He's a king, but he's also quite a violent man. So,
Well, considering what happened to him in the story, not condoning what he's doing, but I understand it.
agreed. Just, I would like to see more of that. But for now, let's see what Black Adam can bring to the table before we make a decision about putting him in anything else. Because I mean, they didn't think about that with Batman v Superman. So maybe give them some time to have that stew before you make that decision. Just a thought.
And to our own Superman, Raiden, what do you make of this?
Yeah, I'm kind of a list on this one. Let things build up instead of just rushing like you did with Beast Superman. You know what I mean? Like fans don't say they want that, but the way that movie was, oh boy.
Yeah.
And God bless the run for teasing just for the possibility, because you don't see that much with actors, but giving his experience with wrestling, he's known to get the people what they want. So yeah. Let's just see where this movie goes. That's all there is to it for me.
Okay. And following on from this, there is an actual article as well. Dwayne Johnson says he absolutely plans to make a Black Adam versus Superman movie. And here are my notes. Considering the bad blood that runs thick between these two in the comics and the subsequent animation adaptations, then oh yeah, this is going to be a brawl that will be on par with the fight that took place in Metropolis between Supes and Zod. Additionally, there will be likely comparisons to DBZ in its sequel series Dragon Ball Super because of the larger-than-life epic fights that will leave more property damage than an average street fight in the WWE that would feature Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Dudley Boys, Brock Lesnar, and the Bloodline in a Texas Tornado hardcore match. Also, on a minor note to the wrestling fans out there, can you imagine how amazing would be if it was JR calling a match between Superman versus Black Adam? By gosh, is my witness! He is broken in half! That would be insane. And for context, I'm talking JR in his prime, and I'm trying to be nice here. I know life has caught up with JR and life has happened with JR, and JR, I hope you're recovering well from what you've been dealing with, because we have reported in the past he has been dealing with skin cancer, and that is something I would never wish on anyone. Hope he's doing better, but JR, I'd say around 1999 to 2005, when he was in the prime of his announcer career, that would have been a heck of a thing to call. It's like when somebody once shared with me, what if JR was calling moments in The Simpsons where they're like being physical, like when Homer accidentally landed back first onto that pole, and you can hear his back, and you can hear his spine snapping. So yeah. Let's see.
Have a back, guys.
Yeah, you're good. Well, we're just gonna be covering what we already know. Yeah. Unless anyone's got anything to bring to the table. Oh, there is actually one more. There is actually one more. I almost forgot about this. Brendan Fraser open to reprising the mummy role in a legacy sequel.
Yes, gimme.
Legacy?
Given how the last Mummy movie didn't exactly set the world alight with a thirst for more, when that movie seemed to revolve more around Tom Cruise's character more than the titular character, and a failed attempt to start an MCU-styled monster cinematic universe, the idea of continuing the story from the Stephen Summers series would be intriguing. But considering that 2008 third entry in the series, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, left a equal sour taste in our mouths for different reasons, as Fraser states in the article, I don't know how it would work. I'd be open to it if someone came up with the right concept. It's been 15 years since we last saw Rick O'Connell tackle the world of mummies, and to see where the story would go since then would be intriguing, but it would have to be somewhat of a time jump, going from the 40s to the 50s and early 60s. If you can get Stephen Summers back to write the script, that'll be a start. Madam President, we'll begin with you.
I would be 100% open to them doing a sequel like this. I'm so glad that Brendan Fraser's gotten this like career resurgence, and I'd be open to this. And don't include Tom Cruise. I'm sorry, just don't include him because that movie sucked. That was just Tom Cruise the movie, because the less we talk about the movie the better. But I would love to see Brendan Fraser reprise his role as Rick O'Connell. Just see where that goes, because again, the last one, the Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, I believe, that didn't work for me. I think they really need to bring back Rachel Weisz as Evie, because I'm sorry, those two work together too well. They had the best chemistry in those films, so I don't understand why they didn't bring her back, but that's neither here nor there. I would like to see Rachel Weisz come back as Evie O'Connell, just like at least pass the mantle of hunting the mummy properly without it being some like weird setup movie. I didn't hate the concept of the Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, just I'd have liked something better. I would like to see Brendan Fraser reprise his role. I would like to see that. Just give this man another W, because he deserves them. So I would love to see this happen, just to get the taste of Tom Cruise's The Mummy out of our mouth. Let's just do that.
I feel like that movie could have worked.
Could have, yes.
If, one, Cruise didn't have such a hand in it. I mean, I'll give the man this. He wanted to try something new, because he hadn't really done horror since Interview with the Vampire, which he was actually very good as Lestat in that. I'll give the man his due. But when it's, as you say, it was focusing more on his character and not Princess Armanette, then that's an issue. And also, there was a little bit of a bone thrown to the fans, because you see one close insert shot where you actually see the Book of the Dead prop from the first two movies, where I was like, oh, okay, so is this thing interconnected, or was that just like a little wink to the fans, like saying, hey, remember this? Steve will get the context of this. It's like in Jurassic World Dominion, there's this one small little moment where Owen and Kayla are looking from behind the foliage, and there's this one little part of the conifer leaves that's got specks of blood on them. It's like, okay, that's a nod to the Lost World. Okay, I see what you're doing there. So little things like that. They don't necessarily need to go back and bring Imhotep back again, because he's gone. Because, well,
he's already dead.
Because let's call it for what it is.
Dead.
Because let's call it for what it is. In the Scorpion King, he went to hell. Let's just beat about the bush. That's exactly what happened. Also, that CG for the Scorpion King in 01. Ugh.
That's still ugly as hell.
I think, what was it? The I think it's the Corridor Crew. They actually attempted to actually.
Oh yeah.
They actually
Yeah, I
attempted
like
to make
those guys.
the CG look better. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but in comparison to how the Scorpion King looked originally, it's like, okay, this looks better.
Yeah.
I honestly would have
found the
preferred
video.
practical effects, to be honest.
Yeah.
Weren't they also the ones that I think they're also the ones that made? What if Homo Trap actually killed the Sticky Bandits?
Well, he killed multiple bandits.
Yeah. Steve, what do you make about the idea of a possible Mummy 4?
Yeah, depends. Would really have to depend on the story and the way it would be written. Because I'm not sure if you remember in the third one, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, but they did hint at mummies being discovered in Peru at the in the kind of like the just before the end credits begin rolling.
Yeah.
Was Jonathan saying about how he wants to go to a place without any mummies, and then the caption just later reads, "A few days later, mummies were discovered in Peru."
Come on!
That's a break.
Is that actor still with us?
The one who played Jonathan?
Yeah. William Hanna,
I
right?
think-
Believe so?
Sure.
Let me
I think he is. I'm not sure.
look it up. A second. Let's see. John Hanna. Yep, still with us.
Yay!
Uh,
Can't have that movie without Jonathan.
Sean, Black Adam. Hey, Superman. Guess what? I have magic.
Oh, fuck.
Just remember, mummies don't use doors.
And they're afraid of cats.
Oh, yes. Hey, look what I got. Oh, damn. Lost my train of thought. Oh, I like that these sort of moments, sort of interactions between Rick and Jonathan, where Rick is actually trying to ask Evie how she is. He goes, "You okay?" And he goes, "Well, I don't know. I feel a bit weird around the head." He's got this look as I say, "Dude, I ain't talking to you." It's just those sort of moments that catch you off guard.
That, and I think it's in the sequel where they're trying to get away from the desert consuming the pyramid of Amsher, and Jonathan's just like, lower me, when he's trying to get the big gem on top of the pyramid.
Yeah. I like. Oh, was it he was saying to his balloon riding friend, where he goes, I don't know, I'd have to refill the dirigible with a lot of hot air. And he goes, "If anyone can do it, you can do it, my friend." And I'm like, I saw what you did there. I was like, I saw that. And I think like the characters all looking like, wow, dude, really? And to Raiden, would you be open to seeing a fourth in that series of The Mummy, or like the rest of us, do you think really need to see something conceptual first before giving an opinion?
I would definitely agree. Second Emperor wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. Definitely taking over what Tom Cruise did with the.
You should just stick to Top
I mean,
Gun.
say what you will about the schlock, but Mommy was fun to watch. Especially the first movie.
Oh yeah.
Second movie was like whatever, but like I mean, okay, I did like the second movie a little bit, but still, I still take him over what he got. Yeah, but I would like a I see something concise before I'll be excited.
Yeah. I haven't gone back to watch the 2017 iteration. I think I happened to be walking through and random and his girlfriend at the time were watching it, and he's just, and I'm looking, go, oh, I see you have chosen torture. I'm gonna go upstairs and work on projects because this is where I'm gonna be nice. Cinematography and visual effects were decent, but the story is just what let it down. That and Tom Cruise's character and SETI seemingly becoming fused with each other. I'm like, And the thing that kind of annoyed me a little bit, I know people have their opinions about Dracula Untold, but they said that, oh no, Dracula Untold is now not canon to the MonsterVerse. I'm like, oh, come on. That movie was, alright. That movie had its issues, but I actually liked Luke Evans as Dracula. I'm like, no, give me another movie with him as the lead role, because I thought he, did well with what he was given. Alright, it did essentially make Dracula look like a hero, for all intents and purposes, but considering how he was done dirty in the movie, it's like, I don't really condone what he's doing, but I understand why he's doing it. Alright. If no one's got anything to add to the table, and we have a returning Oni Rakaku. That's interesting.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to hit my mic. They heard you on accident.
Hi, Oni.
Hey, Oni.
Not all of it, no.
Greetings. I am the
They're saying hi.
I said hey. I was just telling her that we need to go to the store in a few to get some groceries.
Okay. So,
that's all I'm saying.
Alright.
Quick question to Oni before he
Also,
goes.
you can stop my
language!
You just got Steve Rogered.
Quick question. Will he be streaming later tonight?
Alan Wake. He will be streaming Alan Wake tonight.
Yep. And there'll be the full test of my new headset that Kit got me.
Yeah.
Hooray.
Thank you for my Christmas present.
You're welcome.
Aww.
Brother, would you like to see your Christmas present? Nah.
No, don't tell him that. No.
Okay, folks.
I've already got...
Alright, we'll continue. Sorry about that.
Okay, folks.
It's fine.
We're back again next Sunday. Excuse me. Usual time of 6 p.m. UK time, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then, of course, the Halloween Sunday, 9 p.m. UK time, 4 p.m. Eastern, and 1 p.m. Pacific. And that's just for 2 weeks, and then back to regular time. Hey, it is what it is. And then, of course, I'm back on Tuesday night for, presumably, Arkham City. Depending on how quickly I can get that downloaded to the Xbone, because Steve, as we found out when I was downloading Arkham Asylum, that took a while.
It can take a while, yes.
But I might be looking to acquire Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed, and it looks like it's seemingly picking up from moments after Ghostbusters Afterlife, because I saw the opening cinematic, and it's right at the end credits where Winston comes in, and I'm gonna say the man looks very spiffy in a suit.
Very nice.
I will note the developers have cheapened out a little, because the Rookie that you play looks suspiciously like the Rookie render model from the 2009 game. So, like I say, it looks to me, that's just a little.
Maybe.
That's just cheapening out a little bit.
Or, and I'm just coming out with a suggestion here, maybe they're taking that game into the canon as well.
Well, Dan has actually said that because of Afterlife, the game is actually now no longer canon. It just exists in its own universe.
Boo!
Well, it's not the worst thing Dan's ever been in. I mean, not too many people like to speak too highly about Caddyshack 2. And you know what's really cruel about that movie? It's got a decent song by Kenny Loggins, and it went under the radar because of that movie. Anyone that ever listens, Nobody's Fool, one of the best songs Kenny's ever put out. And to be honest, and this is just me speaking as a fan, a little bit of bias, but that's neither here nor there. It's up there with the Danger Zone. Make of that what you will. And then, of course, back on Wednesday for Jurassic Wednesdays. And maybe, stress maybe, I might get Sonic Frontiers, but this is the caveat. Sonic Frontiers is going to be priced at £50 here in the UK, and that's for both Xbone and PS5.
Considering some of the more recent games have been getting even more expensive now, because pre-orders for God of War Ragnarok have gone from somewhere between about, depending on which version you get, it's either £60 to about £70, and that's just for the regular version.
Damn. I appreciate it's a tough economy. I appreciate that you have to make ends meet, but at the same time, don't bite the hand that feeds you. If they had priced Sonic Frontiers at, say, £45, I might have stretched to it, but £50, that's a big ask. And I think in current exchange rate, £50 would be equivalency to, say, I don't know, $55 to $56. And that's just for a game. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But until next week for Sunday Night Live, I have been the Knight, saying good night from the night.
Alright, and I've been Kitsune Rokaku, and if you could check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Kitsune Rokaku, where I'll be continuing my Pokemon adventure, so please check it out. And I'm halfway to affiliate. Please, just get me there. I need it.
Please help support Kit.
Send her 300 followers and be like, oh wait, I'll have more followers than you, Oni.
Yeah, it's bad enough that my Mewtwo is smaller than my Vulpix. Come on. If anybody doesn't get that reference, watch my streams. You will find out why what I mean.
And I have been Steven. Even though I don't have anything to promote, I'd like to give a shout out to our good friend Kaiju Noir. Go support him and his book, Primal Warrior Draco Azul, issues 1, 2, 3 of his comic, along with his solo novel titles.
Buy my book.
Oh. And I have been the cybernetic energetic Raiden. Don't have anything else to plug, but at times I'll be on a podcast called AGS, aka Sunday. Last time I was in there, I witnessed a lot of toxic shit between two lovers. But
oh dear.
If you're not hearing me, if you don't hear me, hey, still get us some more likes so we can be rich on Twitch.
Yep. And we're gonna go raid Aldrin because, you know, classy guy, very, very dry wit, and you know, he deserves every single follower and sub that he's got. So we're gonna go raid Aldrin. One viewer is ready to raid Aldrin. 2 are ready. Okay, folks. For SKL, we'll see you next Sunday, but for me, I'll see you Tuesday night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
On fire? What? That's just nutsoids.